Hey everybody, I am going to be starting in a few moments here. Let me share this with everybody on Instagram and on TikTok. Give me a couple minutes and we'll get started. In the meantime, I'm going to play some of my favorite spooky season music. And then we'll get started in about 5 minutes. Need to skip these ads. Right. So right now I can't go live on IG and TikTok at the same time. So I'm going to go live real quick on IG, gather everyone, do the same thing on TikTok, and then we'll get started. Let's say started at 9. I know this is probably just the only person watching this recording, so just chill and enjoy the music. Hey y'all, it's Daye. I am here at the Halloween spooky tarot poetry reading. Click the link below to join us. We're actually going to be going live on Insta or on YouTube instead of on Insta and TikTok. Since I couldn't figure out how to do both at the same time. So join us over on YouTube, share with your friends. I'm so excited to share this evening with you. Y'all, I'm gathering everybody from Insta and TikTok since your girl is technologically challenged and we're going to get started around 9. So feel free to hang out, just chilling, listening to the music. Want to go grab the tea? I have my favorite little teacup here. My coffee teacup. And then we'll get started. Don't get confused if you see me go live on Insta. I am literally just going to go gather, go herd the cat, so to speak. Hey y'all, we are now live on Insta let's see, to let you know that the live is actually going to be on YouTube. So I'm really excited to join in and do some tarot and some story reading with y'all. I'm actually going to go post this on TikTok, and then maybe I will go live on Insta as well. So I'll be back. And if you need the link, go to my story, and that's where I'll show you where the link is. Mm-hmm. Again. YouTube story. Let me know in the comments what you're sipping on or what you're snacking on. I have an immune boosting dandelion tea in my cup, and I had some like chocolate covered peanuts. Hey sis, happy Samhain. Yeah, and I think I ate too many yesterday. What about enough for today? Yesterday and for today. Um, so I just finished eating some ground chicken tacos. I made myself. It's really, really good. Um, there is so much coordination, y'all, into going live. I had not previously realized. This is my first time attempting to go live, like on all platforms, and it's a learning process. So we learn as we go and we grow. That's pretty much life. I've already exhausted myself trying to fit into perfection, and it's not realistic. So instead of frustrating myself, I'm just gonna go with the flow. It was so funny. I don't know if you saw. I think it was Vintage Fantasy. They posted like make a horror house, but make it for your sign, and it was like Capricorn was like going with the flow, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much accurate. I can fully attest to that being my scary house, my haunted house situation, but also oh, that was the coolest thing in the world. Will you let me do cool TikTok? Let's see. Nope, I don't think it let me be cool. Okay, that's fine. We're just gonna do, Halloween. Okay. So hopefully folks are able to join. Maybe I'll go live on TikTok since I think people on Instagram are a little bit more. It's a little bit easier for folks to join from Instagram because all they have to do is see the story and then click on, link in bio. Um, so it might be a little bit easier for folks to do that. With TikTok, they got to go to the link in the profile, they got to do this and that. So, and I've never gone live on TikTok, so maybe it'll be like a nice first. Who knows? All right. So, yeah, the haunted house for cats is so real. It is. Now I'm curious what the one for your sign is. Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun to, you know, the adult version of the, of the terrifying haunted house. I'm trying to upload my link tree with here we go. Oh, did I already do that? Bro, maybe I already did it. Okay, whatever. All right, we're gonna get started here. Um, I'm gonna go live on TikTok as well. Like I said, I haven't been live on TikTok, so I'll go live on here and YouTube. Deciding to. I am living my best Libra rising life because they call it indecisive, but there's also pivoting, right? All right. So I'm gonna go live, and God help me if there's like some copyright bullshit with the music. It's like hopefully not, but if it is, and I'm not able to record this for later, then y'all really who are here are going to get like the insider scoop on what's going on. I'm really excited for that. Welcome. If you are joining me now live, I am Tommy J. Hunter. I'm an Afro-Indigenous storyteller and poet, and this is the Halloween story and tarot reading live. So we're going to be vibing with some spooky stories, some poetry and stories written by moi, Edgar Allan Poe. If you have some favorite authors that you want me to read, drop the name of the author and the title of that below, and I will pick one as a reader's choice. And then we're going to be doing a tarot reading as well, a collective, like a brief collective reading, as well as, and if you notice, like I'm looking at this camera, I'm looking at this camera, I'm going live on YouTube. So, hey fam, I'm still here. I'll try to remember to kind of toggle back and forth between both. This is my first live where I'm trying to go live across all platforms, and I was trying to do Instagram and TikTok, and I don't have the tech set up yet, and that's fine. We're learning as we go. So yeah, and then what we'll also have is, let's see, I have the agenda here, so I will go through that right now, so that way you kind of know, like, how long do I want to stay? What do I want to listen to? I highly recommend coming and listening to the end. This will probably be about an hour. I'll probably try to keep it nice and short and sweet for our first one. But if y'all have any questions or want me to go into anything in more detail, put those in the chat. I'll be happy to do that. This is going to be amazing and fun. I said this on my Insta and I think on TikTok that this is for the aunties, the uncles, and those who don't have Halloween plans. And now you have Halloween plans. We're going to hang out. We're going to read spooky shit. It's going to be fucking amazing. I appreciate y'all for joining. And I did decide to do it a little bit later than 7 o'clock Eastern because the mamas and the papas they want to join on spooky read too, and they have to take the kiddos to do their trick or treating. So anyway, without further ado, we have the flow for the evening. So, yeah, put your questions or reflections in the chat. I have a few tweets for you tonight. We're going to start off with Wayfaring Stranger. I'm really excited for that and just calling in the ancestors. So, I'm going to be doing ancestral calling and singing. I'm going to share the story about Samhain and why we celebrate Samhain. And then I am going to make the announcement for the Samhain/Beaver Full Moon Collective reading. So y'all will still be the first to get the link. Today was just it was a day where the veil was thin and girl was up late till 5 a.m. resharing missing cats on next door. So the full moon reading is going to be done right after this live, and you will get the link. So if you are interested in that, be sure to drop below a little candle emoji, and then I'm sorry, a little moon emoji. Yeah, a little moon emoji. That'll be more clear. Um, let's see. And then from there, I'm going to read some spooky season poetry. Really excited about that. I have some brand new poetry from my new project that I'm working on. Some of them I've posted, but I promise to read at least one that I've not released before. And that project is here from me. It's not published yet, so it's really exciting. And then I'm gonna read you one of my short stories. I'm really excited. That's like a favorite that I read every Halloween. We're gonna read The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Again, if you have your favorite author, especially if they're like BIPOC, Latinx, like anything like queer, like please drop that in the chat because we love Edgar Allan Poe, but also like let's mix it up. Let's go in there. Um, and then I'm going to give the very exciting announcement around my new offer. Just combining poetry, astrology, astro reading all together. Um, yeah, so everyone who watches until that point will get a special code. Someone said there might be 40% off of this offer, which, as you know, is a small business. Like, that is probably the max that I'll be able to do for offers. And so, yeah, this is really exciting, especially being brand new. So, you get to not only lock in at an earlier rate, but you also get to be a part of this process, right? Like, we're doing this together and kind of beta test and see what works and what doesn't and what flows. And then from there, we're going to do the tarot reading, and at the end, the offer that I'm going to tell you about 3/4 of the way through this live, one person is going to win a free offer. So be sure to stick around. It's going to be fucking amazing. And with that being said, let me go ahead and pull up. And I asked the YouTube folks this already, but please let me know what teas. Right now I have grants. So I have a dandelion nettle tea mixed with immune support because this time of year. So let me know what you're sipping on. Let me know what you're drinking. Let me know what snacks you're eating. I'm really glad that we get to do this together. I'm so excited. All right. So Wayfaring Stranger, y'all may be familiar with this song. Basically, its origins come from Scot-Irish immigrants who were originally the settlers, right, in Pennsylvania, and then they migrated to Appalachian Mountains. And their idea of there's a lot of like traveling songs in Scots-Irish lore, but oh wait, hold on, I cannot not light my little candle. Shout out to Benevolence Farms. This is the Trick or Treat Yourself Pumpkin Spice Buttercream Candle. They're not sponsored, but I love them. They help women of color, predominantly in Alamance County, North Carolina, who are transitioning out of the legal justice system to have to be employed. So this is a light we're lighting for our ancestors, and just want to put a lot of good intention and love into that as we light it. And and it goes out. You know what? The ancestors are fucking on one tonight. I swear to God, they've been doing this all day. It's so funny. Like, I try to do anything, and it's just like, no, but that's part of the fucking trick or treat, right? They're just like, trick or treat, bitch. Happy Samhain. All right, let's try this again. They're like, don't take so damn long to light it. She's too much of a poet, all right? She has a flowery language. All right, so this is the flame that we'll be keeping here on camera that you can focus on. So back to the song and back to Scots Irish tradition. And really, we're gonna just do a recap of Samhain. That's I'm Irish American, so that's my roots. I'm Celtic. I have Celtic roots from both Belfast, Ireland, as well as Henderson, Scotland. On my dad's side. So that's my papa. Yeah. So it's not a distant thing. It's my papa, who is an ancestor. So appreciate my papa here. And I just want you, as I'm speaking, to really think about all of your ancestors and all of the people who are here with you, right? And who are joining you and who are who have your back, right? And I really want you to put an emphasis on them. And I'm actually going to put this here. I see like everyone is kind of migrated from YouTube to TikTok, which is amazing. So now I can just look at one in one direction. So let's adjust a little bit here. We're pivoting, we're adjusting all day, all life long. So I really want you to think about those who have passed on. It could be family members. It could also be pets, they still watch over us, even from the other side, whether you call it the liminal space, the spirit world, the underworld, whatever the ancestral plane, right? We have helpers that are guiding us in our every step or making jokes and teasing us. And the reason why we're still here and we're still protected is because they come before us. They came before us, and they paved a way for us in this land of the living. And now, from the land of the dead, the land of the ancestors, the land of the spirit world, we are just going to create an intention right now to call in all ancestors of love, all helpers of love. Sometimes helpers of love may be shadow. They sometimes may be light, but they are of love. And we call in all those ancestors of love. And I speak intention over every single person, every single being who is watching this, not just the human beings, but all the people and all the animals and all the helpers and the beings from the ancestral realm to come here and be with us right now, to sit around this fire, to sit around this food and this gathering. And I ask you, creator of love, IYKYK, I ask you, creator of the universe, to give me the words that I need to say, to share, to help everyone. Amen, ashe, aho, aha, so mote it be. All right, we're going to start off with Wayfaring Stranger. This song, as I was just explaining, comes from Scott Irish tradition. It was created because of the migration, right? And this feeling of feeling so far away from home. And I feel like whether your people come from other places in the world, or you might be watching from somewhere across the world, but especially I can speak to my experience as a person who is Afro-Indigenous and also Scots Irish and also Polish. No matter where your people come from. Thank you, Biwa. I'm so glad that yes. So I'm so excited to be here with y'all. Or even if your folks are Indigenous, right? Like, think about the ways in which your people have been displaced and removed, and you may be settling into your home, right? Like, you might be smack dab in the middle of your homelands. Like, tonight I am in Durham, North Carolina. I am in our ancestral Yesa homelands. I'm so grateful. And yet there are still pieces and parts of me, right? Like, there are aspects of me. I don't want to say pieces or parts, because I'm a whole human being, and not to go on a full whole tangent, but you know what? This is a whole tangent. Like, that's where the spirit is flowing through. So let's do it. Simon Ortiz talks about this. He talks about this with the story of, I can't remember the name of the story, but it's the warrior who he's going through and he's polishing off and he's finishing off his arrows, right? And he's doing this in his lodge, and his wife is there kind of relaxing. It's, nighttime, and they're about to go to bed. And he doesn't hear, he doesn't see, he feels someone outside of his house watching in on them. And so he tells his wife this in their Kiowa language. Is it Kiowa? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Kiowa. Kiowa language. So maybe, oh wait, this is not Simon Ortiz. Sorry, this is N. Scott Momaday. Okay. I'm doing so many readings for school. Sometimes things get mixed up. Anyway, so N. Scott Momaday's father has told him the story, and this is an traditional oral story that's been passed down for generations and generations and generations. And so this man, right, as he's like preparing these arrows, he tells his wife in their Kiowa language, like, don't be alarmed, there's somebody outside who's watching us. And he's like, just talk normally, right? And there's power in that. There's power in not allowing fear to overtake you. It's easier said than done. And so he just starts to talk a little bit more loudly and more intentionally to his wife, and he's kind of pretending to talk to his wife, right? And she's talking to her husband as he's saying things in his Kiowa language. that he's really speaking to the person outside. And what he's saying is, if you're Kiowa and you know what I'm saying, what are you doing out there? But if you're not, you won't, if you're a Kiowa person and you're my enemy, but from a community, you're going to charge in and you're going to do or say something, or you're going to leave. Right. Because you understand what I'm saying. But if you're from another tribe, you don't know what I'm saying. And I'm like, there's not going to be a difference. And so, nothing happens. And this person clearly doesn't understand their language. And so the person ends up, he just takes the arrow and he's pretending like, oh, he's stretching it out. He's testing it. He's, and then he does it and then he turns and he hits it and he hits the enemy right in the heart. Why did that story come to me? It was a download. It was like, that was important to say. It's important because, ooh, you'll notice like my throat will start to get kind of choked up, or I'll start to be sneezing or burping or whatever. That's like ancestral download. That's definitely a sign that things are moving through and the energy's moving through. I say that all to say, don't be afraid what lies in the dark, right? Talk to your fears. If there's any time to look in to the darkness, to expose your fear and expose it to the light, it is tonight. It is right now. There are things that are asking to be seen in you now. They've been asking, okay? Like, to be clear, they've been coming up and you've been stuffing them. And they've been coming up and you've been numbing yourself. They're not going to ever go away. They're never going to stop until you address what's going on internally inside of you, and until you look the darkness right in the face, right? Until you address your shadow. And really addressing your shadow, what does that mean? What does that look like? Addressing your shadow doesn't mean accepting the dark parts of yourself and becoming enveloped in them and becoming like overwhelmed by them and almost like consumed by them. No, it means shining a light on something inside of you that's been asking to be held, that's been asking to be cared for a very, very, very long time. It's so funny because this is like one of the few candles that doesn't really bother me, because I'm really sensitive to things, and it's like essential oils and fragrance free and all that stuff. Oh, it says clean scent fragrance. Aha! Some of them are just essential oils. That is why it's bothering me. Okay, I'm just gonna put it a little bit closer to y'all. If I need to, I might need to like take a little break. We could take a bio break maybe in a little bit, and then I'll go grab like my essential oil lavender candle instead, so that we can kind of keep the flame going. All right, enough of that. That was a tangent, but a good tangent. I think y'all needed to hear it. So as you're addressing these things, remember the importance of doing this within community. We can't do this by ourselves. Sometimes we need our alone time, and sometimes we need to be alone, but balance, right? Sometimes you'll notice that when you're going through a period of healing, you're more by yourself. It's not isolating. What did somebody say? Oh, it was like last month. Somebody was like, it's not isolating. It's like intentional seclusion, right? So it's all about being intentional. So this song, as I have been alluding to for what seems like forever. So I'm just going to read this little blurb. So it says, as much as Scots Irish music focuses on loss and parting, it also focuses on homecomings. The ballad Wayfaring Stranger, got to keep the light there, believed to be adapted from the ancient song, The Dowie Dens of Yarrow, focuses on these themes of homecoming and belonging after a long life of being unsettled and outcast. At the first, the early Scot-Irish immigrants were quickly accepted into America despite their strange clothes and mannerisms. However, as time passed, tensions grew between them and their Quaker German neighbors in Pennsylvania. Because they had already been transplanted twice in living memory and were used to subsistence survival, they moved on and settled in lands to the west. And I want to put an emphasis on settled. They were settlers. For many of them, America truly was the land of the free, and a life for oneself and for one's family was possible. As they moved, they named places, they renamed places. They already had indigenous names, but they renamed places that they settled in after towns back home to like give them this sense of closeness. But also in
in doing so, erased Indigenous history. You're going to hear a lot of these asides from me because it's complicated. While they had plenty of songs about their wanderlust, they also had many about home and what it meant to them. And this is one of those songs. So Wayfaring Stranger is a song, I don't know which, you might have heard the Johnny Cash version, you might have heard the Jack White version. My favorite version is Rhiannon Giddens. She's Black. I think she might be Afro-Indigenous singer. And actually, her rendition of Wayfaring Stranger was found on, was broadcast on BBC Northern Ireland. So I'm sorry, Jack and Johnny, love y'all both to pieces, but Rhiannon made it onto BBC Northern Ireland. So I think that's enough props, like right there and there, then and there. It's also been beautifully adopted as a gospel song, though, and I'm not gonna sit here and bluff. I'm just gonna go off of both like my intuition and also my general, education and knowing. How did it become a gospel song? Well, unfortunately, a lot of early Scots-Irish settlers became overseers and even plantation owners, and so that's how West African people ended up adopting some of these songs. So it's very complicated. I'm sitting here as an Afro-Indigenous Scots-Irish Polish person, even though the Scots-Irish ancestry on my pop-up side came like in the late 1800s, but anyway, they were still settlers. So yeah, it's complicated. So I sit here as a living, breathing example of what it looks like. Not what it looks like, but yeah, what it looks like to live in those like complex intersections. I'm not saying I'm the gleaming example of it. I just do my best to try to honor my ancestors of love. So I'm gonna sing this song for you all. I could just play the Rhiannon Giddens version, and I won't sing the whole version. But I really believe that the ancestors respond to our voices. So if you know this song and you want to sing along, do so. Or if you just want to kind of close your eyes and just feel the song. Let's see. I need lyrics, bruh. Yeah, that's what you can do. All right. So what I like to do with songs like these, I really believe that words are spells. Words are so powerful. And so whenever I'm singing about, like, for instance, like this is a person that's talking about going home, but there's also a sense of not just going home to the homeland, but also like somebody journeying over to the spirit world. I don't know about you. I am not planning on journeying to the spirit world in that way tonight. So I changed the pronouns from I and I'm to he, she, or they, just to be more intentional about my intentions and just speaking words of power. All right. Get some tea, warm up my voice a bit. He's just a poor wayfaring stranger. He's traveling through this world below. There is no sickness, toil, no danger in that right world to which he goes. He's going there to see his father. He's going there no more to roam. He's going over Jordan. He's going over home. She knows dark clouds will gather o'er her. She knows her pathway's rough and steep, but golden fields lie out before her, where weary eyes no more shall weep. She's going there to see her mother. She's going there to meet her when she goes. She's going just over Jordan. She's going just over home. They're going just over home. I hope when you listen to that, you thought of all of the people in your life that you love. We just had an elder pass last week, and just think about them going home to be with their loved ones. And also now here, when this veil is so thin, is a perfect time for them to come back and peek in on you and to see how you're doing and to offer their love and their support until they go back. So yeah, I hope that resonated with y'all. I think there's something so powerful in dance and song and in creating ceremony and bringing in ancestors and loved ones. All right, so Samhain, what is Samhain? So some of y'all may know this and some of y'all may not. So hang with me and maybe you'll learn something new. Maybe I'll learn something new. Maybe I'll remember something I forgot. So Samhain literally means summer's end in Gaelic and Gaeilge. And in the Irish and Scottish tradition, Welsh actually has a different holiday name for it, and I can't recall it right now. But it's something very similar. I think it's like the eve of winter. It's a time that our Celtic ancestors observed that not only was the veil thin at this time, it marked the end of summer, the warmer days, and into the winter time and when it gets darker. I think it's interesting that also, daylight savings time for some of us happens around this time. So it's really about moving into from the time of darkness, or from the time of light and into the time of darkness. And this time, even though now, we go trick-or-treating, we wear costumes, like where does that all come from? There's a lot of different origins from that. And I'll just kind of briefly talk about what that means. But they're offerings, right? Like we make our offerings and we put them out front of our doors, and we do that for the ancestors. And that's just not Celtic people. That's people, indigenous people from around the world have different forms of doing that. Some indigenous people don't do that, and that's okay too. Some people from their original places do and don't. But those offerings, that is what the treats are left out for. Specifically, some are for our ancestors, and some of them are for evil spirits that we just kind of want to assuage and say, like, hey, don't come here and come take our peoples. That's specifically for our Celtic beliefs, is don't come and take us. Take the food, take the treats, right? Take the treats so that a terrible trick isn't played. And originally pumpkins. So here's some cute little fun facts about the Samhain to Halloween tradition, right? So when Ireland was colonized and Christianized, it went from Samhain, right, and it went to these traditional ways into Halloween. And Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, right, was this very Catholic way of Christianizing the holiday. Originally wasn't pumpkins, right? Pumpkins actually come from the Americas. They're squash. So ancient Celtic people actually carved turnips, which are significantly harder to carve into than pumpkins. So when they discovered pumpkins, they were like, fuck yeah, these are way easier to carve into. So they originally used turnips, and they would actually capture the spirits of evil spirits into these turnips that they would carve into and put the light in there. Yeah, so kind of think of it almost like a binding spell. What else do I want to share about Samhain? You know what? I kind of want to talk more now about the legacy of witches and of magic folk. At this time of year, of course, people are dressing up as, ghouls and goblins and things like that. And again, for like traditionally for Samhain, either you were like in your house by dark, and that's something that I practice, is I'm like, okay, I'm either in my house or someone's house by dark. I know trick-or-treating at night can be fun, but I don't try to stay out too late, like maybe a little bit past dusk. But yeah, so traditionally people would dress up if they were going to be like out late, or they would dress up as monsters and as these like demons and ghouls to kind of like blend in with the other spirits so that they wouldn't be attacked. And so this actually is it's a perfect segue into what I want to talk about with the tradition. There's a couple different ways of saying witch in Gaelic and Irish, but at the same time, there's some cultural things around there too. So we're just going to use the word witch for all intents and purposes. And so now I feel like that's us as actual witches, not as people putting on costumes, but as people who are magical beings, whether it depends on where you come from, right? Like you might say you're an empath, or you might say you're a seer or a dreamer or a channel. You might be a reader. You might just be a psychic, have like psychic dreams or psychic intuitions, whatever, it's not about the label. It's about understanding the magic and the sacredness of who you are and the power that you bring in your spirit, and that's channeled through you, and what your purpose is here on this earth to channel that through. And I feel like the witch hunts of yesteryear are starting to reoccur in ways that are specifically targeting women, LGBTQ plus, especially of color, and any of those who really just say fuck the system and stand up against systemic injustice. And I think now it's kind of like how people in ancient times dressed up to blend in with the monsters. I feel like witches are now like more or less choosing to, sometimes more, sometimes less. We're not all wearing pointy hats and flying on brooms across the sky. Unfortunately, I would have had it otherwise. But we're here, we're your neighbors, we're your friends, we're your family members, whether you like it or not. And there's this collective awakening that's happening, and really it's the spiritual people who are going to bring us through. So that's what I want to say about Samhain. I'm actually going to check real quick. Yeah, if y'all have any questions, or you're like, wait, I always heard this thing and I want to know your take on it. Like, we're hanging out, we're chilling, we're vibing together. So let me know if you have any thoughts, questions. Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning, today has been a day, as you saw. And so the Samhain / Beaver full moon collective reading announcement. So I have these collective readings that I started last month around the full moon. And it doesn't just look at the energy of the full moon, it looks at the entire lunar cycle for the next 28 days. So that's going to include tonight, and it's going to include for the next 28 days through the Taurus / Beaver full moon until right before the next new moon. And so those are $8.88. I put them on my website. So if you are watching this and you're like, I just popped in for a minute and just wanted to see what the fuck you're up to. I'm busy, but this is some cool shit. Be sure to check my website by midnight tonight, and I will have that posted. Thanks y'all for your patience. And that it's going to be, so this is going to be, I'm going to do like a little bit of the preview of the energy right now, but it's going to go way more in depth about each transit and what you need to do to be prepared, and how you can, just be prepared and setting your energy and your intentions. So with that being said, I'm going to do some little highlights over the next little bit here. Let me grab my notes. All right. Because I'm like, first I kind of talked about Samhain, but my brain wants to jump into the full moon. And I'm like, you know what? I really need to talk about what's going to be happening even before the full moon, because that's in nearly a week. And where did I put it? All right. Here? No. Here? Okay. Yes. Here we go. All right. So right now it's a waxing gibbous moon, right? Let me make sure. Sometimes I have to check myself. Yep, waxing gibbous in Pisces. Oh, no wonder we're feeling all the vibes right now. Wait, it says November 1st. Hold on. It could have changed. And then let me change it to my time zone. And what you can do is if you go to mooncalendar.astro-seek.com, Jesus, is like the longest URL in the world, or just put in moon phase calendar, it should pop up. It'll tell you, and you can put in your time zone, and it'll tell you exactly what the moon phase is in your area. So yes, it moved in Eastern time, US, and moved in at 7 a.m. So pretty much it's in Pisces for most of the folks who are probably watching this. No wonder we are all in our vibes and our feels today. Lord have mercy. It is a waxing gibbous. So the moon is intensifying as we speak in Pisces, and like we're in Scorpio season already. So talk about intensity on top of fucking intensity, and the veil is thin. And so what do we do about all that? Like, what's going on? So to kind of guide you, we have the full, like we have a waxing gibbous in Pisces. It's going to move into Aries on Sunday, give or take. And then of course, Tuesday, it moves into Taurus, but it won't be full until Wednesday. I kind of give you some idea. So from October 25th to the 31st, we're actually having some, meteor activity. So we're having some showers, and I kind of posted about this a bit on my Insta story, but really there is this meteorite that has never entered into our solar system before, right? It's completely new energy. It's a new material, right? And so it is literally leaving trails of dust into the air as we're having solar flares. Okay, well, so talk about the veil being thin, talk about the atmosphere being more vulnerable right now, especially with these solar flares. I mean, does that make sense? Like, does that kind of like help to kind of guide you on maybe how you've been feeling? I know it definitely helps me because I'm like, I just feel like, yeah, it's like bringing energetic symbolism of like outside or alien transit more than usual, which is really interesting because we just did Wayfaring Stranger. Okay. I did these two things separately. I know it's all like I'm doing all these things, but also ADHD and also like short-term memory loss. So I'm like, whoa. Okay. So a lot of subconscious shit coming together and converging. Yeah, the cosmic object is called 31 Atlas. So if you want to look that up, it's an interstellar comet. Yeah, and we've recently moved from the harmony seeking pleasure of Libra into the deeper transformative season of Scorpio, of course. So shadow work, depth, release, etc. What do I want to say specifically about these things? Okay, so just know that if you feel like your guts are being yanked on, okay, like if you feel like your guts are being yanked on, especially not your like, so I'm thinking like more of the sacral chakra, okay? Like Scorpio is very like sacral chakra energy. If there are some sexual wounds or healing that needs to happen, or just energy around that, energy around being able to have joy, to enjoy yourself, to seek pleasure. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming through your dreams right now, just to be honest. There's probably a lot of downloads coming through your dreams. What I would say is keep facing it. Like, pause, notice what's happening, be aware of it, say it out loud. Shit. Even if you got to go into the bathroom or whatever. I don't know about you. Like, I mean, I could think things in my head, but then all of a sudden, like, I get distracted. Sometimes you got to go take yourself in the closet or the bathroom and go look in the mirror and be like, I am freaking out right now. I am experiencing this. I'm experiencing this. Whoa, like I'm sitting with this, and the awareness is going to help so much. And then you can choose where you go from there. Maybe you're like, I'm going to choose to put this on the shelf just for now because I'm sitting in the back of a fucking Halloween party. I don't have time for this shit. I will look at this tomorrow, right? I'll look at this over the weekend. Or maybe you're like, I'm going to go call a friend and talk about what shifts are happening. The isolation, again, like just remember to balance the isolation with needing community and needing help, because the isolation helps with focus, but it won't take you over the finish line, if that makes sense. Yeah, cosmic downloads, unexpected awakenings, shifts in beliefs. but really being aware is going to really help with that. And then choosing something different, even if you have to journal about it first, even if you're like, for instance, like feelings of unworthiness, like I'm not worthy to receive good blessings without overworking myself to the bone. Okay, that's not something that's just going to vanish or go away. So how can you journal about that or talk about that? Shit, I talk a lot to myself because it's called externalizing your thoughts. My Nana used to do it. Bless her heart. Love you, Nan. I know she's here now. Yeah, and so externalize that shit, right? Like talk to you, like sometimes you got to talk to yourself, like think about what you're thinking about. And then integrating that into like different structures. So again, I'm going to go more into depth and more in detail about specifically which each transit means when it's happening, and pinpointing like these shifts. And then usually what I try to do is like give some examples about like different zodiac signs, sun signs, or not even sun signs, just different zodiac signs, because it could be your sun sign, it could be your moon sign, it could be whatever. And to kind of show you like how that might be impacting you. Right now, what I will tell you, I've actually been getting a lot of Tauruses reach out to me recently, which is fucking awesome. First of all, I'm a Taurus moon, so shout out. But second of all, we have this Taurus full moon coming up. Right? That's funny. Not funny. Haha. Funny, weird. Also seeing a lot of fire signs. Let's see. What do I want to say here? Last month's Aries full moon was very like shit or get off the pot energy. And you may have taken advantage of that, or you may not have. If you did, you're like, all right, I'm still agitated, but what's next? Kind of thing. Like, all right, what we got going on? If you didn't, you kind of feel like you're waiting for the next train to pick you up. I'm not saying you miss the energy, but you kind of miss the energy. You know, like it's not something that's like missing from you that you can't like get back. But what I would suggest is just be in the present now and work with this energy now. Especially with Scorpio, because if Scorpio, in my opinion, wasn't a water sign, it would be a fire sign. And I have ideas for all of them. So if you have like a certain sign and you're like, wait, what would I be? Like, what element would I be if I wasn't a this sign? Let me know, because I'll share. I love this shit. Let me know, like in the comments, like give me some hearts, let me know if this is vibing, if I'm just rambling. Let's see. Let's move on to, yeah. So you want to check that out. Link will be in my bio, or just DM me. Let me know. I will send it to you directly. But that's $8.88. It's basically like a coffee with almond milk. And it's going to tell you like what you need to do, right? I really need to find out the time I was born. Yeah, it's helpful. But what I will say is you can still find out almost every single other thing about your chart, except for your rising sign. It just depends on if certain planets were like in transition. So like if the moon, if you were born 11:50 p.m. On a Tuesday, and then at 2 a.m. it moved into something else. You know what I'm saying? Or well, 8 p.m. if you were born at 8 p.m. and like, yeah. So it just depends on when you were born. But for the most part, it's just helpful to know your rising sign. And your rising sign is like just like a mask, right? It's just like these Halloween masks out here. It's literally like, hi. Like for instance, I'm a Cap, but I'm a Libra rising. So I come off as very not so, I don't know if so much anymore, because I feel like as you grow in age and as you get more attuned to who you are, you can start to kind of like choose to share what you want to show. But I feel like for most of my life, Libra energy, very like harmonious and diplomatic and charismatic and like friendly. And I'm not friendly. I'm also just a Capricorn stellium. So like, I'm like, hey, we cool. Also, I need to go be by myself. So anyway, I'm going to read some seed spooky poetry. Who is ready for some spooky fucking poetry, y'all? Check in on YouTube. It is still running. All right, cool. So glad I'm here with y'all tonight. Is our rising sign our birthday? So your rising sign is what? That's a great question. Your rising sign is what sign was literally coming up on the horizon where you were born at that time. So if your birthday would be more like your sun sign. So let's say you were born June 5th. So your sun sign would be Gemini. But let's say you were born at 10:40 p.m. or 10:41 or 10:42 p.m. In New York. So like as the like Libra or whatever sign is rising on the horizon at that time, it's almost like when you go, yeah, it's just like the mask or kind of like the impression that that sign instills onto you. Let's see. Awesome. I am so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. All right, I'm gonna read some spooky poetry. I'm gonna read 2 poems from Seeds. I'm gonna read 2 or 3 poems from Ancestral Seizure. Don't forget, if you have some favorite poems you like, you're like, oh, I really wanted to read from my favorite, like, I don't know, whatever fucking fan fiction. I'll read it. Like, shit. This is all about having a good time, having fun, like enjoying ourselves. Like, yes, it's sacred. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, but like, we need to stop taking ourselves so seriously. And by we, I definitely mean me. Like, if you can relate to that, then great. But I also just mean me too. All right, let's see what's going on here. I think it's not funny that when I go to this folder, it's like, what manuscript? That's not funny. Trick or treat, bitch. You know what? Every time something like happens, I'm just gonna be like, trick or treat, bitch. Okay. Let's just go here. And then I'm going to go. So if you're reading from Seeds, I'll let you know what page I'm on so you can follow along. I'm going to be in the autumn section, which starts on page 69. 69. Okay, 69. So I'm going to read autumn. So if you are not aware of my book Seeds, it's a collection of Afro-Indigenous stories and poems. And yeah, there's some ancestral downloads here for sure, but I also have another book, another project I'm working on that's specifically about that, which we'll get into in a minute. Seeds is broken into 4 seasons. So autumn kicks off with the poem called Autumn. Prime pumpkins are picked amongst sweet, moldy leaves as crisp air turns dark. All right, I'm going to read Rotten Apples, which I just shared on my social media this week, but I really love this poem so much. Yeah, this one's Rotten Apples. Rotten apples. Rotten apples, burning stars, taste so sweet and take me far along the glittering rows of corn pollen tops, of ancient songs, of rats and frogs, hopping along the path of moonbeams, laughing amongst jack-o'-lanterns carved by grandma's knife. Shh, don't tell a soul about how you can turn light switches on and off with your mind. Don't tell how your touch heals the sick and how your prayers are always heard, like good spells are always cast, with goodwill and faith in the divine, in self, and in life. In that way, all circles will finish their course, just as each snake will eat its tail, for each to belong to its nature, for love to belong, for order to remain for all time. All right. I'm actually going to read from my new project now. Bise, thank you so much. I'm so glad y'all are here. Yeah, Ancestral Seizure. Whisper of Ancestral Seizure. Y'all are hearing it first. Now, when I get published, because that's my next goal, is to be published. I love self-publishing. It's a lot of work though. It's a lot of work. I'm going to find a really good publisher. And oh wait, I know where this is at. And I'm going to find a good publisher to help me with this. So the name's a little different then. Don't be alarmed. But I'm going to fight for this name. Whisper of Ancestral Seizure is this next fucking poetry project that I'm coming out with, and I'm really excited for it. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to start off with a poem that's actually also in seeds. Oh man, there's so many good ones. You know, I've been telling myself, work on writing for Ancestral Seizure. Bitch, there are like 36 poems in here already, okay? How many pages is this? Let me look at this. 56 pages, right? That's enough for a poetry book. I think. All right, so I'm going to start off with Ancestral Voice, which is also in seeds, but it's also going to be republished here into Whisper of Ancestral Seizure. Ancestral Voice. Each dream that I dream, each prophecy that's given, each premonition that's received, are the ancestors speaking through me? Each idea that surfaces, each inspiration lent, each creative thought that I think, are the ancestors speaking through me? Each letter I press, each word I type, each sentence I complete, are the ancestors speaking through me? Each divine word that I speak, each mountain that I climb, each new day that I see, I ask myself, are the ancestors speaking through me? And with that, oh man, I'm so excited. All right. I'm gonna read Ocular Gate. This is one of the poems from my new project, Whisper of Ancestral Seizure. Thank you. I needed that confirmation. Like, I feel like with seeds, I really pushed myself. I feel like with seeds, I really pushed myself to write more, and I'm glad that I did. But some poetry books are like 50 pages, and that's okay. Hello, overachiever. Okay. Anyone else? Trick or treat, bitch. Anyone else like me in the room? Okay. What are words? Now you really know when your tongue gets really tied. That's when some spirit shit's about to come through. Ocular Gate. And it's spelled G-A in parentheses I-T-E. Look into her soul and hear the stories of old that for eons have been told. Enter through the portal that is glassy earthen oculars. Can you see your future? Or perhaps your karma? Don't be alarmed. She is of no harm, simply reflecting your own intentions. Can't you see yourself through the branches? Or are you lost in the forest for the trees? Breathe, reflect, and take responsibility. She is simply one guide on your journey. Treat her well, and you'll find prosperity. Leave that right there. Let's see. All right. This one's called We Remember, and I wrote this last fall for a performance based on ancestral remembering. It's called We Remember. I don't know if y'all heard that. It was just a goose. Yeah, a goose. You know, geese are up at 10 p.m.? It was a goose. Right. It was a goose. Okay, ancestor. All right. I don't know no geese to be flying around at 10 o'clock p.m. They be at home at 10 o'clock p.m. They're like us. All right. We remember. My ancestors want you to know they remember. They remember the ships and the messengers of such ships. They remember the gifts, promises, and treaties made. They remember this now as love bombing. They remember the bullets in chests, the raping. My ancestors want you to know they remember this as apocalypse. My ancestors want you to know that they know where the bodies are buried. They showed them to me in a dream. Bodies, small and large, still bleeding. They showed me our relatives hanging in caverns, hidden, thought to be long forgotten. They showed me the tiny bodies, fresh as the day their lives were taken. They showed me down the pit, a deep and shallow grave. A deep yet shallow grave. The blood staining my pajama pants. My ancestors want you to know that the government thinks they covered it up, but their bodies cry out from the ground. My ancestors want you to know they see it coming. They feel the earth shaking from the trauma colonization has inflicted on her. They smell the earth leaking gas and oil, her putrid breath and blood leaking from her. They hear her wails as colonization still beats and bruises and pimps her out to the highest bidder. They smell, they taste the coming death. My ancestors want you to know they worry for you. My ancestors want you to know they remember. My ancestors want you to know they know where the bodies are buried. My ancestors need you to see the truth, hear the cries, smell the rot, feel the blood, and taste the transgression. My ancestors need you to know they deserve justice, that they demand justice. My ancestors want you to know they worry for you. My ancestors want you to know they see it coming, that this will be you if there is no change. My ancestors need you to stop, to return to who you were created to be. My ancestors need to tell you the story to anyone who will listen. My ancestors want you to know they remember. My ancestors want you to know they remember. My ancestors want you to know they remember and that they will never, ever forget. Whew. Whoosh. No one scares the fuck out of me even when I read it. All right. I just want to say shout out to all the indigenous people and all of the earth, all the people who are connected and choosing to integrate into the earth. You know, you hear these cries. You know the transgression. You know these things. We need to change, y'all. We need to fucking change. Sometimes things need to break completely open before they're fixed. All right. I can't not read this one. And I also can't promise this will be my last poem from here. You know what? Two. I get excited about reading new poetry. I mean, I love my other poems, don't get me wrong, but this one is called Dear Hide is Thicker Than a Fucking Tribal ID. This one's about Dear Woman. For those of you, if you know, you know. She's the protector of all of the innocents, the women, the two-spirit, the children from evil fucking predators. And yeah, when you know she's Dear Woman, it's too late. All right. This is Dear Hide is Thicker Than a Tribal ID. And I wrote that. Oh, shit. What? With the verification. Hold on. All right. Hold on. All right, cool. I had to do a verification to say I was still on here. I'm like, y'all can't, the app can't hear me yapping. All right. Lost my fucking train of thought. What was I saying? Dear Woman. By the time you know, it's too late. All right. And I wrote this poem. That's what I was saying. That's before I was rudely interrupted by TikTok. Actually, let me make sure that YouTube's still rolling. Hold, please. Again, I appreciate y'all as I'm. Oh Jesus, I have. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I have way too many tabs open, and that's the story of my life. Here we go. All right. So I wrote this because I am from a relationally recognized community. Okay, cool. This is still going. I'm from a relationally recognized community. What does that mean? The federal government doesn't acknowledge our community. The state of North Carolina doesn't acknowledge our community, but our other communities who happen to be state and federally recognized, if it matters to you, they acknowledge us. So really, this is a fuck you to the colonial system that says that we need badges, basically Gestapo badges to say that we're Native American. I mean, it's helpful to get scholarships and things like that. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? It's more than that. Being Native is more than a card. It's about your responsibility to the earth. Yeah. All right. When I first wrote this, I was driving. It was a late January night. And really, it's in the rhythm of this. Even though it's about Dear Woman, what I really love about my ancestors is they love to jam up in here. And I really wrote it in the rhythm of like an Irish limerick, just how the rhythm is. So if that is coming through, that's why. Out of the fog she came, a woman with no name. A woman, a doe, the same, naked and afraid, unbathed and ashamed, chased by Chinonkehe, buck, blinded by rage, darting into the night, colliding with headlights. She left only tufts of hair behind on the grill held together for many moons and summers by kindred sinew, vanishing into the marshy dew. Out of the mist she came, a woman knowing her name, a woman, a doe, the same, strong and untamed, armed and unafraid. Antlers circle her frame, mother of Daye, shedding all her blame. She stepped under the moon, ears alert, attuned, bow strap hung loose, arrowheads ready to prove any man a fool who sought harm to her kin. She, protector of women, sits patiently in waiting. I put sits instead of lies because in our language, generally speaking, when you're saying someone's doing something, let's say they're all making a cake. The baby of the elder is going to be lying down making a cake. The woman sits and makes a cake. The man stands and makes a cake. It's not necessarily always gendered like that, but it's like kind of the roles according to community. All right. I cannot not end this up with, ooh, okay. You never write something you're like, damn, I don't remember writing that. So I cannot wrap this up without talking about Yezi Baba. Because we're talking about witches. Yezi Baba, or she's better known as Baba Yaga in the Russian tradition. In Polish, she is Yezi Baba. Has been degraded and demonized into this witch of the woods that eats children, when really she is the woods. She is Mother Nature. And of course, if you don't respect Mother Nature, she's gonna eat you up. But if you do, then all is well and all is good. Let me see. Search. Oh, I didn't even add this one yet. Oh, it is hot, fresh off the. Okay. All right. All right. So this one is Yezi Baba. Ancient and deep set in the forest. Transformation lies the edge of infinity, sits the brink of death, stands the test against all odds. The path to rebirth is lined with the bones of cowards, the mouth that mocked her, now only a mandible, turned door handle, lock and key. Turning around, you see no evidence of home. Turning back, you see a house unlike any home, an unhome, wingless yet perched on talons. In this border, in this liminal space, in this valley of darkness, your voice shakes like autumn leaves, dried and feeble on their branches. Chatko, chatko, little hut, oh, little hut, turn your back to the forest and your face to me. The unhome's mouth door yawns wide. The wind rustles. The trees groan. The air thins and crisps. She descends from the zenith, all mortal, no pestle. All cast iron, no soup. All broom, no dust. The old crone, the wise ancient one, the terrible mother, the unkillable helper. Bowing low, you respectfully whisper your request. She agrees with conditions, of course. You must complete her impossible tasks. Shed ego or die. Be brave or be eaten. Be wise or be consumed. Be respectful or be incinerated. Be clever or be served cold. Be resourceful or be chopped up. Seek aid or crumble. The path to rebirth, after all, is lined with the bones of cowards. She opens the door and gestures you in to cross the threshold. Your fate lies in her hands, but you decide the outcome. Oh, we went all around the world tonight and in one place. All right. Let's see. We're nearing the end here. I'm thinking if I want to read, I'm going to break it up. Maybe. No, I'm going to share. You know what? I'm going to read one. I was going to read something that I've published already. What was it called? I don't know, but I put it on YouTube a few Halloweens ago, and it's a pretty badass story. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend going to my YouTube and checking it out. It's like a 3-part spooky read series that I did. And one of them, I read this badass thing. Let's see. Seen here, powerful chills. Oof, I'm glad y'all are enjoying it. Yes, and for all who are here, welcome. My name is Dominique Daye Hunter. I'm an Afro-Indigenous poet and medium, pretty much. Moonchild. Ancestors speak through me. So if you're joining here on Samhain Eve, welcome. You are at the right place at the right time. There's a message here for you. It's no coincidence. All right. There's another project I'm working on. It's fiction. It's not just fiction. It is, what did someone call it? Goth historical fiction something. See, this is why I write, because let's see. A semi-historical fiction goth Afro-Indigenous mystery project. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, drop some hearts. Drop a couple black hearts below. The working title right now is Belle and Joseph. I am sharing stuff with y'all that I am not fucking like, I am not out here talking about this because I'm just here and I'm working on it and I'm holding it. Yeah, but let's see. All right, I'm gonna give y'all the option. All right, viewer's choice. So there's a few chapters. Let me make sure that all of them, because sometimes like I'll put the title and I'll put like, oh, I'm gonna like write about this versus like it's actually written. All right, so these are the chapter titles, and I'm going to give you like the keywords. So if you just hear something you like, you don't have to remember the whole chapter title, just remember the keyword. All right, the first one is called The Tempter and the Beast. So if you like that one, put beast. The second one is simply Batty over you. So you can put bat. The next one is Velma's Moon. So you can put moon. You can also add some emojis if you want. Going postal. Okay. So you can put postal. Cracking up. So you can put cracking or whatever. My alarm's going off. Coyote visions. Oof! That one. Like Vel and Joe, okay, I'll tell you a little about them in a second. Basically, they live in the woods, but this is like a prequel, like to their relationship, and it's some badass shit that goes down in a canyon in New Mexico. So if that sounds interesting, you can put Coyote. One's how Joe met Vel, which is like that's kind of like a spinoff from that. So I won't really do that one. There's Jealousy, The Mask, or Water Bearer. So I'm gonna read what it's about, and yeah, drop like even if you don't hear like something about water or something about. So again, I'm gonna read it one more time. So let me know, drop the word or the title, what you want me to read. So The Tempter and the Beast, Simply Batty over you, Velma's Moon, Going Postal, Cracking Up, Coyote Visions, Jealousy, The Mask, and The Water Bearer. All right. And while y'all decide which one you would like me to read, I am going to read you the introduction and introduce you to Velma and Joseph, our characters. Okay. So this might change, but this is what I have so far. Velma and Joseph, or more intimately known as Vel and Joe, are an 800-year-old couple who are madly in love. You may be thinking, are they vampires, witch and warlock that eat human flesh? To these questions and more, Vel rolls her cat eyes with a simple answer. Oh, for hell's sake, darling, no. We simply eat organic. There's some more mystery to why they're that old, but you'll have to read the book to find out. Vel and Joe are a strapping young ancient couple. Joe is a middle height built man with dark almond skin, thick, neatly combed jet black hair, a little poochy gut, and a monocle, which he likes to wear when he's not wearing his contacts, and is partial to both three-piece suits and black and white loafers, as well as ripped jeans, Chuck Taylors, black rimmed glasses, and a black rave tee. Vel is a curvaceous Afro-Indigenous woman with guns of her own, metaphorically and physically speaking, who is either wearing a sophisticated black dress with high heels or boy shorts and a Slayer tank top. By day, they concoct herbal remedies to help rehabilitate wounded wildlife and use their ancient knowledge to help solve local crimes. By eve, well, they're mostly found hiding away in their humble tree castle abode, keeping up their hobbies of raving and dominatrix. All right, let's see what y'all said. Oh, Coyote. Oh, this is I love this. I'm gonna tell you all this right now. This is based off of a dream. A lot of my writing is, but all right, we're gonna go in with Coyote Visions. I love it. I love it. And you know what? This is kind of like the prequel. This is like before Gel info. Vel and Joe met. So it's so funny. I have different titles here. So I had what? Coyote Visions, and then this one is actually ended up naming it Trickster. What did I name it? Flirting with Tricksters. All right, maybe that'll be the subtitle. Love will tear us apart again. Who knows that song? Love will tear us apart again. Vel's low voice echoed within the cavern. She stared out from beneath the rocky overhang to the new sunrise, the light rays bouncing off red rock. It was stunning. She had stayed up all night once again. Maybe I am turning into a vampire, she wondered. As much as she appreciated the safety of her new home, she wasn't quite comfortable yet to fall asleep at night. She tried to find a smaller and more secure space, but this seemed to be the best she was going to find within this immediate area. She could have relocated to a new mountain range, but this place was located close by a village. By the shape of their structure and their horticultural lifestyle, she guessed they were Pueblo. Vel would sneak into their gardens at night and take some of their produce, just enough to not starve. She would have simply approached herself to make it a fair trade, but she couldn't risk them knowing she was there by herself. In return, she would make them herbal remedies and share the recipes by placing pieces of the individual ingredients with the mixtures. This way, she could make a good first impression without putting herself at risk. She was so grateful for her neighbors as they kept her alive and knew how to hunt in her own homeland. But big game being sparse in this area of the desert, she began to eat a mostly plant-based diet. Probably for the best, she reflected. Val figured that the healing property of the vegetables, fruits, and local flora were good medicine for a broken heart. One of those nights, she heard them up late night speaking in worried voices. She had managed to start learning a few words from this eavesdropping and picked up on the words for sickness and white man. A worried Val returned to her cavern and started concocting remedies for cough and fever. She seemed to work herself into a frenzy after putting all the brews into various empty liquor containers. For the first time in her new home, she fell asleep under the moonlight. Vel fell into a deep sleep with many murky dreams that she could not recall. The only lingering effect of her delusion was her slow waking to the sound of her calling out for the coyote. Vel awoke in the darkness to the sound of footfalls walking around her. Seemed like her dreams echoed around in her head. Ma'i, ma'i. She shook herself from a drowsy sleep. The moon had passed over the entryway to the cavern, and it was now almost pitch black, save for the light that the stars reflected onto the water below and sparkled against the stone. It took a few moments for her eyes to adjust. There were two entryways into her room, a larger one towards the south and a smaller one towards the north, both sitting along the same wall. From her position, sitting up across from them both, she looked first at the small entryway. Seeing nothing, she turned her panicked attention to the larger southern door. She had heard the people below speak of a mountain lion that also called this outcrop home. Vel grabbed a rum bottle. After a few moments of not seeing the large cat, whom she feared would be walking through the south entrance at any moment, she closed her eyes and sighed. After allowing herself to relax, she lifted her lids only to see a pair of yellow eyes staring back at her from the north entryway. The small eyes seemed to smile in the dark. Vel sat with her hand gripping the bottle with wide eyes. "You rang?" the eyes asked with a grin in its voice. As they moved closer, the rest of the voice's face appeared, its eyes shining with a glimmer of starlight. It was a coyote. Vel now stumbled to stand. "It's okay," Coyote said with a gentle, kinder voice. "I came because you were calling for me." She gave him a look. He cackled. "You can try to deny it, but I heard it." "Mutty, mutty," he mocked her with a moaning voice, now leaning over backwards dramatically over a rock. "What do you want?" she asked grumpily. "Wow, you really aren't a morning person, are you?" he said, sitting on his back legs. "Haven't you been listening? I came here to find out what you want, dear." "You seem like a depressed mess," he said, raising an eyebrow and looking at her disheveled hair. "Oh, come on, I just woke up," she said, now leaning back into the rock and putting a hand on her forehead. Coyote seemed not to be a threat, and being so tired and through with life, she relaxed back into her dejection. "Still," he said, judgingly, looking at all the empty bottles lying around. "Those aren't mine," she said defensively. Coyote leaned into a star-like groove and kicked up his feet onto an adjacent boulder. "Sure they're not," he said sarcastically. "I'm making medicines for the people below," she said, massaging her temples. "Oh," he jumped up excitedly. "For the village right there by the river? Oh, I love those guys. I get such a kick out of messing with them," he said with a deviant look. "But recently, they haven't been such fans of my work. You see, he said, arching his back, pretending to take a fake arrow to the chest. Why not? She asked. Aren't you their star trickster? Well, truth is, I got mixed up with some ladies and fellas down there, and yeah, I'm sure I know the rest. The same reason you got kicked out of the Netory too, I'm guessing. No, 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 no. You've got it all wrong. You see, I got run out of Duneta for, well, let's just say they've taken to hurting my favorite delicacy, he said, doing a chef kiss. She said with a yawn. You got it, he said enthusiastically. Now I'm forced to live off these little rabbits, he said miserably. But that's what you get when you live in a plant based neighborhood, he said, throwing up his hands and returning to his seat, his stomach rumbling. So, am I a late night snack or are you just happy to see me? Coyote grabbed his belly and blushed. I was bored and searching the caverns for some bobcats to gamble with. That's when I heard, to my surprise, my Jeanette name being called out. And here I find you asleep and night dreaming about me in the darkness, he said cockily, stroking back the fur on his head. Yeah, and you're a regular heartbreaker, aren't you? She said bitterly. Are you Danae then? No, Monacan. Monacan? Jesus, I haven't been that far in ages. Beautiful people, he said, widening his eyes as he remembered his antics and nervously laughed as he came back into the present. Vel rolled her eyes. What in the world are you doing way out here? And how do you know Danae? Well, let's just say I'm trying to outrun colonization. And I used to date a Danae guy. I knew it, Coyote, then transforming himself into a tall, deeply toned Danae man with long, jet black hair. Hat ish bandana, he said seductively. Ha! Not funny, she said, looking away. Seeing how disheartened she looked, even the trickster felt bad. Hey, now, listen, I'm sorry, he said, sitting next to her, still in his human form. He put his arm around her and felt her shivering. Any other man who would have dared touch Val without her permission would have suffered from a broken nose. But she was sitting in a cold, dark cave, far from home, broken-hearted, with only the coyote trickster's company. This was a weird-ass rock bottom, but she figured there was no sense in letting a good hallucination go to waste. Might as well embrace the strangeness. Why did you come here? She began to sing. Well, that's rude, Coyote said, hurt. Velma smiled. And Coyote picked up on the joke. And why do you hang around? Coyote began to howl. I'm so. Vel stood and began to snap along to the harmony they were creating. Coyote jumped up and began to stomp his feet to the rhythm. She started again. Why do you come here when you know it makes things hard for me? I'm so sorry, he sang, his voice now echoing off the walls. They both began to dance. Vel twirled him around, and he was impressed by her knowledge of tango. Are you sure you're Monacan and not Mexican? He asked curiously. Grinning from ear to ear, she continued their song. You just had to sneak into my room just to read my diary, she said, with a long, shocked look on her face as he dipped her. It was just to see all the things I knew you'd written about me, he responded innocently, twirling her back and then pulling her close to his chest. Oh, so many illustrations, he said with a grin. Oh, I am so very sickened. I am so very sickened now, she sang with a disapproving look. Was it a good lay, he asked. She responded in mock disgust. They laughed and danced and danced and laughed until Coyote pulled her into his human skin once again. So I'll end there. I love this idea that Morrissey and the Smiths got their lyrics from an ancient Afro-Indigenous woman in coyote dancing in a canyon. So that's Vel and Joe. All right, y'all. I'm gonna wrap it up soon. How are y'all feeling? Are y'all getting sleepy? I'm actually, the only 2 nights of the year that I feel like I want to go to sleep before midnight is actually Halloween and New Year's. So, all right. So let's get to some. Y'all have been hanging out with me for so long. I'm going to share some really cool shit with y'all. Some treats. not just trick or treat, bitch, but actually treats. And then maybe we'll wrap up with the Raven. How about that? That will break up some of the storytelling stuff. So an exciting announcement. Y'all are still here and stuck around. You the OGs. I have some exciting news. And I'm just gonna put this a little bit further from me because again, my head is a little bit weary. Yeah, so we'll drop the exciting news, and then we'll do a tarot pull. We'll announce the winner, and then I'll read the Raven to close us out. So I'm gonna pull it up here. So as y'all know, I've been an astrological nerd for a very, very long time. I have been helping people informally and unofficially do chart readings, specifically not just, a traditional chart reading, but helping them to see who they are, and how they interact in the world and how they can thrive in this world. So I have a new offering, and the heart of the offering is something that I'll share in a moment. So I'm calling these Celestial Integration Natal Chart Readings. They are now live on my website. It includes a 1 hour live and recorded Zoom session. If you do not want to talk with me for an hour, just saying, I'm cool to hang out with. I'm more than happy to record it and send it over to you. We're going to explore your sacred map of your birth chart together and help you to blend in astrology, ancestral wisdom, and poetic insight to understand not only your placements, but how you can embody them. Do you often feel like you're like fish out of water, or you're like, I don't know how to be in this situation. I don't know how to be in this situation. While, yeah, flexibility is important, you want some type of consistency that says, this is who I am, and this is who I am when I step into a room, and this is why I am who I am. So we'll walk through your chart in real time, translate your cosmic energy into a daily practice so that you can align your natural rhythms with your purpose and your power. And again, you'll receive the 1 hour intuitive chart reading. You'll receive a recording that you can revisit anytime. And then of course, some notes, some highlights. So what I'll do is kind of have a thorough transcript of the conversation, or overview that's a little bit more thorough, maybe not word for word. And then also I'm going to have a simple chart, which tells you let's say your sun sign is Gemini, or your sun sign is Cancer, and it's in the 8th house or whatever. What does that mean, right? And then you'll be able to take that meaning and then be able to, I'll add those in there. So for those of you who have the Yura guide, the Your Rooted Ritual Alignment guide, this is something that's included in the guide, yet now you get me if you are I don't know what this means. I don't know what the fucking Sagittarius in the 1,000,000th house is. I don't know. Girl, I don't know. So I can do those translations for you. And then I have some optional add-ons. So if you are interested in your soul's integration, so your draconic chart reading, I have an add-on for that. I also have an add-on for this really exciting part that I'm so excited to share with you. If you've been peeping my full moon readings, then you're ahead of the game, okay? These are Celeste Terrestrial Poems. What are Celeste Terrestrial Poems? They're portrait poems, okay? Based off of, let me open one up. So they all come with these really cute envelopes, okay? You can pick your color. What other colors do I have? I have sky blue. I have cloud gray. I have all these different colors, and they're gold and they glimmer. And then I'll seal it with my logo. And these seals are nice because you can still kind of keep it and you can still pull it off. So it's a sticker seal. It's not an old-fashioned seal, though that would be fucking dope next time. So it is a custom poem based on your astrology. Primarily, it's based on your natal chart, big 3, your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. But some folks don't know their time of birth, as was mentioned earlier. So if you want to, I can do more of a poem that's based on kind of your general energy, though it's a little bit more work. So if you want that, I can probably do that for a little extra. So it's a basic 4 to 6 line poem. It has your name engraved at the top. It's handwritten by me, Dominique Daye Hunter, author and published author and poet. And then it's signed on the back. So hopefully one day these are going to be worth a lot of money on eBay. So right now they're going for $111 on my site, $111.11. So 11111. Okay. But tonight, what I got cooked up for y'all tonight? Let's see. So 40% off. So it's 66.67. So $66.67. To add the Soul Draconic chart, usually, so that's $111 value and 11 cents. Normally with the Draconic chart, it's $222.22 value for like both your natal and your Draconic chart. That's only $113.53. If there's somebody in the comments who's like, I know why you picked that price, put it in there and you will get a free poem. Custom poem. Okay. So actually I'm gonna do two custom poems for free. And then we have your Celest Terrestrial Poem and then your natal chart together. Normally that's a value of $222.22. I do have these bundled on my website. So if you go on my website right now, you'll see that the natal chart and the Soul Draconic chart is $189.22. It's bundled. So I don't charge $222. It's a $222 value. It's $189.22. But this is even lower at $113.53. So you're going to save, what the fuck, like $75 more than you normally do. And then if you wanted the bundle, normally the bundle is going to be, so it's $333.33. So $333.33 value. And on my website, I bundle it for $222 for $222.22. Angel numbers are always so fun to look at, and they're not as fun to say. It's like, I'm out of breath. So what tonight only, if you are interested, so if you're interested in this, drop a crystal ball emoji and I will send you the link as well as the code for this. Okay. These prices are only good tonight. So when the sun rises upon the horizon, so basically 6 a.m. tomorrow, I'm going to keep it up all night. So you can purchase tonight. Your first cosmic bundle, or your full cosmic bundle instead tonight, instead of the $333 value, or even the $222 that you'll find on my website tonight, it's $133.34. It's fucking steal, bro. I'm excited because I get to I love chatting with y'all, and I love being does it remind you of a certain event? I love you. You know what's really funny? I just did 40% off of 2222 and it was 113 and I was like, bitch, this is meant to be. So I'm so excited. I'm going to read you a couple of these examples to kind of give you an idea. What I do is basically take who you are as your big three, but also I like to glance at your whole chart to kind of get a vibe for everything, because we're not just our sun, moon, and rising. And then I create a landscape out of you, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. So this one is for somebody who has earth and air placements with some water energy. The mist falls over the meadow, pulsating with wildflowers. Steam rises from the earth. A soft breeze passes through the mountaintop, swaying pines in its dance. Okay. Here is one. This person, very special person to me, has fire and water energy. Pulled by lunar tides, she sits by the flame, low and smoldering, in the thick soup of salty air. Her mane is a flame, her heart a soft shell, her eyes portals of transmutation. So yeah, I did one for a person who was air, fire, and I think a little bit of earth, and they were a valley in the middle of two mountains that had this plain and over the plain there was like a cliff. And it's really beautiful. There's another person who had like a lot of, let's see, I think there's some Scorpio energy, Aries energy, Cap energy. And I said, oh, you're a bonfire next to a bog. So yeah, if you love earthy shit, if you love astrology, if you love poetry, and if you love yourself, baby, these are personalized poems, and I can also do them for others. So if you're like, oh, this is something that would be nice to lock in, yeah, then be sure to grab it for a loved one, for the holidays, or just for any time for yourself. And again, I am going to pick one person who is watching and engaged, who, again, I lost YouTube. Where did YouTube go? YouTube. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I love being fucking Delulu on here. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you want to, you can put sparkles in the comments and I will give away one free poetry poem. How does that sound? Let me know. Let me know if y'all are interested. Let me know if you are wanting a free poem. All right. So I'm going to wrap up here with a quick tarot reading. All right. Now we're here for the tea. Y'all didn't know. I have tricks up my sleeve, girl. I got tricks all the way up my sleeve. So I'm just in a giving mood tonight. You know how some people feel about Christmas? That's me for Halloween. I'm like Jack Skellington, bitch. I'm like, it's Halloween. We gotta just like, yes. I'm just so fucking excited. This is my day. I love this day. I love this day. All right. So we got some treats in the form of some coupons. Okay, we have some treats in the form of free poetry winner. And then we also have a special treat. That's right. I did that. I broke out the tarot deck. And you know, as a lunar, babe, I had to bring out the oracle deck. All right. So if y'all have questions, burning questions that you would like to share and you would like some insight on, this is basically the opportunity for a free tarot reading. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this. And I'm going to start us off. So yeah, if you're like, well, you don't have to be specific. You could just be like, I got a question about a man's and about faithfulness or trust. Okay, you could literally drop one word. Just drop one word. I don't need to know your business. Well, I'm about to tell you your business, but I'm not going to know what's really going on. Like, you're going to know what's going on. That's how tarot's supposed to work anyway, unless you know the person. But that thing is bright, running bright and hot. So if you have a specific question and you're like, I want my question answered, just drop one word. One word. You know what? It doesn't even have to be about your situation. Drop a feeling. Creator of love, ancestors of love, guides of love, we ask you to show us what we need. Okay, something's coming up already. Jesus. Okay. Whoa. Okay. We got, this is strange. We got a full moon in Taurus. Some people do, I don't know if a lot of people do this with moon oracles. Sometimes I do, but it'll be, sorry, the candle's like, the fragrance is really good. It's really getting me. I'm start itching in a minute. So, and I love their candles, don't get me wrong. I'm just really sensitive to like any type of fragrance. They do have essential oil candles. I just burned through mine already. Some folks at tarot, they do past, present, future. This is a full moon in Taurus, which is coming up this week. Okay. Ooh, I hear you. Okay. We're going to go opposite with this. This is next week. It says your dreams need a practical plan, bitch. You're too much in your head. You're dreaming, and that's good. That's real good. But we need to write it down or talk about it or do something about it. This is actually Okay, we're gonna do this in the opposite order. And actually it works with your view. Does it work? I'm kind of dyslexic. So I'm like, what are they seeing first? You're seeing this first, right? And this last? Okay. So yeah, this is, and for my view, it was opposite. So it's not for me. Okay, it's for y'all. So your dreams need a practical plan. So the full moon next week. Okay. Before you get to that full moon, before you get to those steps to take those steps for your practical plan, these two have to come first. This one is first for y'all. It says a fiery climax approaches. It's a full moon in Aries. This is the full moon we had last month. Remember, I was just saying that if you did not deal with your shit last full moon, it ain't gone away. It's still there. And it's gonna blow. It's gonna blow, baby. It's gonna blow. Okay. This one right here, balance spirituality and practicality. Part of you needs to pop the fuck off. Not in a bad way, just in a way. Like, even if it's just getting angry enough with yourself or with your situation that you're like, fuck this shit. I am sick of this shit. Like, sometimes you just need to say, I'm sick of this shit. And it could be your own shit. Okay. You need to vocalize that some way. You need to get it out in some healthy way. Okay. I'm not saying go to jail. I'm just saying you have to express yourself. Okay. And dreams don't count. Balance spirituality and practicality. A lot of people, especially feminine women people, they act out their violence in their dreams because they're not allowed to be vocal in real life. Be vocal, say the thing, okay? Again, I'm not saying go to jail, but I am saying push the boundary of what you are done tolerating. This right here, balance spirituality and practicality, especially between these two cards, is basically telling you that before you get to the next climax, before you get to the next full moon, before next week, you need to let this energy out, and then you need to breathe. You need to meditate. And it says balance spirituality with practicality. Remember, I was just saying earlier, you need to talk about what needs to be talked about. You need to share, even if that's with yourself in the mirror. Like, what do I like? Pause, notice, choose. Pause your thinking. Think about what you're thinking about. Notice your thoughts, and then make a new choice. And then with that practical plan. So that is the emotion here. So if you want to take a little screenshot, you can. Okay. That's beautiful. Okay. So my word is, so it's hard to see the first thing, is direction. Okay. Cool. My word is direction. That'll give you some direction right there, but we're going to go over here to the tarot deck. Now, I'm still learning some tarot stuffs. I'm a lifelong learner. Let me drink some more tea. I'm trying to save the last of the tea. All right. So, creator of love, ancestors of love, and guides of love. Tori needs some help with direction. She said, no, for real, that first reading with the oracle cards really called me the fuck out. Girl, they will every time. Don't pick up a deck if you don't want to be called out, okay? They will tell you some shit. They'll be like, bitch, I swear one time a tarot card looked me straight in the eye and said, bitch, what you doing sitting on the couch eating chips for? I'm just playing, but still. I would be offended if it weren't so true. So as we see, these, I didn't even shuffle. Okay. I told you, the veil's fucking thin. All right. Ooh. All right. Now this is getting complicated. You see how that fell? Then it twirled around. Okay, hold on. Because as far as I'm concerned, there is, what do you call it? In reverse, okay? Why is this starting to look like the cunning path? Why is this starting to look like this? Do you see that? Do you see what just happened here? I didn't do that. That did that. Do you see that? And it says 1 and 2. I don't know if you can focus, but these ones in the middle say 1 and 2. So now we got to finish. Okay. All right. Bet. All right. Just take me right the fuck out of my comfort zone. Universe. All right. So we're still going with direction. Okay, Tori and anyone else watching this who's asking for direction, their energy needs direction. Show us what we need to know. What is the third card? All right, I'm just gonna place these upside down and then we'll reveal everything. It'll be really fun that way. Fun or terrifying? No, I'm playing. It'll be good. All right, what's the fourth card? My finger was kind of hanging on to that one right there. All right, make me some. Let's give these cards some room, okay? Let's move the pumpkin out of the way. All right. That's number 4. All right, and if you're just joining, if you have something, this is basically your time to shine. A free tarot reading. I'm doing free tarot readings. So if you have a burning question, you don't have to tell me your business. Number 5. Just write a word that represents how you feel or what you need. This one just kind of came off the top. Okay. All right. I never did this kind of reading, y'all. I'm going to be transparent. We're going to try something new together. It's called The Cunning Path, an alternative reading of the 4 powers. Well, shit. Okay, I'm paying attention. Shuffle and select cards 1 and 2. Okay, if you want guidance on the path, 1. Okay, it says delay them, but as you saw, the universe just did that already. If you want guidance, the obstacle and what lies across. Okay, let's see. Guidance on the path. So 1 is the one on the bottom. Okay, I know you guys can't really. Here we go. Maybe that's kind of hopeful. I'm trying to keep the flame in there. That is hot as fuck. So, okay, y'all gonna have to trust me. Okay, my camera ain't wide enough. Sorry. If you want guidance on the path, so number 1 is guidance on the path. Number 2 is what lies across. And then draw your cards. Oh, in reverse order. Oh, shit. That would have been helpful to know. Okay. So if that's the case, you know what? I'm going to leave it. Something telling me just leave it. Just leave it how it is. Because this is not normal. I did not pick the cards and lay them across like this. It just happened. So I feel like things are happening. Mistakes are not really a thing. It's like the things are happening. And it's, I'm just going to keep saying the Philistine. Everything is happening in backwards motion today. The very act of using the Wintershins order will help you unwind the hurdles you face. Light up the hurdles. Okay. Light a black candle to harness the power of fire. This candle with the black sticker is going to have to be enough to harness the power of fire to destroy your obstacle. You hear that? You need to use fire to destroy your obstacle. But remember, sometimes we need challenges in order to grow. All right. So here we go, y'all. We're about to do this. Where's the little notebook? Oh, I'm reading it. Duh. Okay. All right. You ready? So this is the path. Number 1 is the path. Ace of Cups. Okay. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to read this little thing. And again, if you have a question, make sure you drop a word in the chat. And I will do a little quick tarot reading for you. Okay. Ace of Cups. This is usually a great card. So if this is the path, not wands, cups, baby. Here we go. Something beautiful and full of love has just begun. Your cup is so full, it spills out into a pool below. You'll feel yourself filled with radiant positivity, happiness, and joy, but you must be receptive. You've been blessed with life-giving love, so welcome all your new endeavors. Okay, so that's 1. And I'm going to put it back faced up in the position that it was in. The King of Pentacles. Okay, this is another highly exalted card. Like, this is exalted. Like, the King of Pentacles is like the king, you know? Don't tell the King of Wands or the King of whatever. King of Pentacles. Because of the physical, like, kingship, materialistic world, pentacles, earth energy, all that good stuff. All right. So this is going to be the obstacle. If you want guidance, the obstacle in what lies across. Okay. If you want guidance, the obstacle in what lies across, draw your card. Okay. Anyway. The king has all they've ever wished and fought for, and all their material dreams have come to fruition. Though they have so much, they are not miserly, but instead trusting and extremely generous. They love to see others succeed as they have and will definitely be willing to lend a helping hand if needed. If you are the king, don't be stingy with your time or money. Donate your skills, wisdom, and possibly money. You'll feel truly fulfilled after spending the time to help others. So, it's saying you have all this abundance of love, but you can't keep it to yourself. All right, 3. Ooh, the Hierophant reversed. Now, like I said, y'all, I'm still learning, so we're going to do this together. So what the Hierophant represents is, let's see. All right. Challenging tradition, unconventional lifestyles, and unconventional relationships, reverse roles, and non-conformity. So the Hierophant is a very spiritual card. They are known as the link between mankind and the higher power. A spiritual advisor might be coming into your life to guide you in your spiritual path. Okay, that's upright. Okay, so let's see. It says reverse. When the Hierophant Tarot appears reverse, it is time to break with convention. You will want to change traditional structure, social norms, and rigid rules. Those close to you may not understand this need to challenge the established way of doing things and may be completely against it. But with the major arcana card appearing in your tarot reading, you will feel compelled to think for yourself and throw away the rule book. The Hierophant reverse can signify an unconventional way of living or alternate lifestyle. Alternatively, it may indicate that you are clinging desperately to old ways to your detriment, and may indicate that you have feelings of guilt and shame associated with behaving in a way that goes against your values you were raised with. Learning to live by your own rules while still listening to your conscience will bring you freedom from oppression, and it will open your mind, expand your horizons, and this is an indicator of conflict with a person or position of authority. Okay. Fuck. Which way was this? No, it's sideways. That's not funny. Trick or treat, bitch. All right, I'm just going to pick it up this way. It's the Hanged one, and it's also in reverse. Okay. But they look like they're upright. And this is, if you're wondering, the modern deck tarot. All right, so we have the Hanged one in reverse. All right. I like how this says the Hanged one and not the Hanged Man. I love this deck. It has like gender neutral terms and a lot of she and they. I love it. All right. So the upright of this means feeling trapped, confined, self-limiting, and uncertain. Okay, but that's not the case because it's upside down. So it says it could mean discontentment, apathy, disinterest, or stagnation, impulsiveness, negative patterns, or detachment. Okay, well, that wasn't much better. It says the Hangman reverse indicates that you are being impulsive and making rash decisions as a way to distract yourself from some sort of inner discontentment. This major arcana trump card generally shows that you may be jumping from one bad situation to the next without considering whether this behavior is where this behavior is taking you. Ask yourself if there are feelings you're trying to avoid confronting, or changes that you need to be made but are reluctant to tackle. If there are, consider what you fear will happen if you do. If you generally don't know what to do in terms of your direction in life, just stop, breathe, and wait for things to become clearer. However, if you know your behavior patterns are not working for you, change them. So it's kind of like change what you can, even if you don't know. And then your attitudes towards your life will determine life's attitudes towards you. So really, like, you're shaping your reality. Okay, so that's the Hanged one in reverse. Don't forget, if you want your question answered, put one word. I don't need to know your business. I just need to know like one word, and I'll be happy to pull some tarot for you. All right, so card 4 is the Queen of Swords. All right, Queen of Swords. The Queen has unflinching perception and can cut to the truth of matter in seconds. She can be blunt, brutally honest, and very forward. But just because she's truthful doesn't mean she's lacking compassion and humor. This goes back to this. Hold on. Get my shit together. This is this. This is this. I'm just like, wow, that's fucking amazing. Like, speak your truth. All right, I'm just gonna keep these together because they're besties. She's still understanding because she can truly see the entire situation for what it is. If you're the queen, it's time to set your emotions aside and try to view things intelligently with clarity and honesty. So again, you don't have to go to jail, but you need this sword, okay? In some scriptures it says the sword, what is it? The word is the sword. Sometimes like your word can cut and like cut people down, but also it could mow down bullshit that you don't need anymore. So I'm gonna keep these here together because again, I feel like these go together. All right. Last card. Page of Cups. This is a good card. And we started, where did we start? We started with the Ace of Cups. How pleasant. That, you know what? That right there shows you and tells you, happy Halloween. I don't know if you were on and heard about the thing, but if you want 40% off of my poetry or my tarot readings, DM me and I will send you the code. Thanks, Ariana. So yeah, Page of Cups. So Ace of Cups, right, is kind of like the start and then the Page of Cups. So what's that? A surprising little fish poking its head up from her cup. Something or someone unexpected is coming your way, and it's going to affect your emotions pretty wildly. Maybe you've been hit by a wave of inspiration or you stumbled upon a brand new friend. Whatever it is, it's a tidal wave of feelings. Don't be afraid to just wade in. You know what this is? Actually, perfect. Wait a minute. Nope, it's this. Hello, fishy. Hello, little Pisces energy. I think this is also hilarious. It's Aries of Pisces energy. And one comes right after the other. So talk about direction. Yeah, Page of Cups. But you know what also comes up when I think of this? Like Scorpio energy. Like it says, like, you know, don't be afraid to wade into your feelings. All right, y'all. I am so glad that we got to hang out together. Let me see if I have one more thing. I am gonna wrap up tonight with some Edgar Allan Poe. I'm gonna read The Raven because it's a crowd fave. Who doesn't love The Raven? And if you don't, tell me why. I want to know. I'm always about like not taking things for granted, especially when it comes to. Well, they have it on the Poetry Foundation. Of course they do. The Poetry Foundation is wonderful. If you ever want to look up some really cool poets, I highly recommend going on there. All right, so I'm gonna leave this here because you know what? This is the energy that we're sitting in. And I feel like your dreams need a practical plan. Is somewhere over here. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, we still got this. All right. So if you're just now joining, we are wrapping up tonight's Samhain Halloween spooky storytelling, poetry reading, and tarot reading. So happy I got to hang out with y'all for what has felt like no time at all for the last couple hours. And I am wrapping up the evening by reading The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Again, my name is Dominique Daye Hunter. I'm an Afro-Indigenous poet and storyteller. And if you're interested in supporting my work, you can go and follow me. You can go send me some love on other social media platforms if you want to follow me there. I send a once a week thing out, a newsletter that's helpful information and insider information for all the different treats that I have for story lovers and storytellers alike. And I'm really happy to be here in the community with y'all. So go give me a follow. We gotta reconvene later this weekend about this reading because, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I got to spend Samhain with you tonight too, sis. So glad. Yeah, I'll take a picture of this for you and save it because, yeah, the universe really said I have a message for her. All right, The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some visitor, he muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more. Ah, distinctly he remembers. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly he wished the morrow. Vainly he had sought to borrow from his books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled him, filled him with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of his heart, he stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. That it is, and nothing more." Presently, my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, "or madam, truly, your forgiveness he implores." But the fact that he was napping, and so gently they came rapping, and so faintly they came tapping, tapping at his chamber door, that he scarce was sure he heard them. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing. Sorry. Deep into that darkness peering, long he stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore?" This he whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore!" Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said he, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but within mine of a lord or lady perched above my chamber door. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of its countenance it wore, though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, he said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim, and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore? Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Platonian shore. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marveled this unghastly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will never leave, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by my reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope then melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." You know ravens and how they like to mimic people. They're the biggest songbird, actually. Um, they're pretty amazing. But it's really awesome that Edgar Allan Poe didn't know that. We have this awesome poem. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy. I just said that. Oh yeah. Okay. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy On to fancy thinking what the ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous boar of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloated o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretched, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nymph, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Why does this remind me of what we were talking about speaking your truth? And it keeps telling you, it keeps telling you, it keeps saying it, it keeps repeating, it keeps telling you. That's the raven. Prophet, said I, think thing of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter send or whether tempter toss, thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. This is a heartbroken man. Quit the bus above my door. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop telling me Lenore don't want to get with me. Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Raven, gahi hae, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Thanks for joining. Happy Samhain. Oof. One new fan. Cool. I am gonna go eat. Will I say nevermore? Oh, it's Dominique. Oh, she said I'm still getting jobs from that resume. Wow. What does that even mean? Oh, I'm still alive. My bad. Hi, YouTube. Girl, I could have put, this is scary. I could have left this on all night. Y'all would have been watching me sleeping. Thank you for listening. If I'm able to, I might just edit that part out. Yeah, I'm really happy I went live. I don't know if I'm going to share this or not. I had some in-person goodies and they're for the in-person folks, but I kind of want to extend them to you too. So I will put that info in the description. Peace. It'll be for the first, you know what? I'll do it through the first week of November. Thanks for joining.